Today is April 28th, believe it or not. It's still getting warmer outside, so I didn't wear a coat again. This is a good trend. Hopefully we don't get any more snowstorms. In any case, joining me in studio today is Julia Veenstra. We have Julia here to talk about two things. First of all, a little bit about her story, but also the West Hamilton Artists Tour, which is coming up May 10 and 11. So Julia, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Martinez.
Now, I wanted to ask first of all about you, because you are kind of a name, I think, in the art scene here in Hamilton. You have a very signature look to your paintings.
Thank
you are
you.
a painter.
I am.
So, and you're currently based on James North. We were just talking a few minutes ago. You got to Hamilton about 7 years ago.
I returned to Hamilton 7 years ago.
Okay, and so where were you prior to that then?
For 7 years, no, 5 years before that, we actually lived in Africa for that amount of time. And before that, we were at several places in the States, and before that, Hamilton. So it's a return. It's a full circle.
You're a boomerang.
Yeah.
So that's a bit different than a lot of the stories that we hear, because a lot of people come from Toronto and then they establish themselves here, but you came from Africa, which is pretty cool.
Well, we were returning. Our children, we were missionaries in Africa, so we were there to help. So we did a lot of stuff there. We were dorm parents to 22 11th and 12th grade boys. So that was a full dorm. There was 22 of them. Wow. And so our children were all starting to graduate, and we didn't want to leave them over here, so we came with them. We returned back. So we had 3 in university when we got back, 2 in high school, and it was a fun time trying to reestablish again back in Hamilton.
And had you been painting in Africa as well, or did you kind of start that in earnest here in Hamilton?
No, I did paint in Africa. My painting took on a real twist in Africa. When I got there, the landscape there is very brown and dry, but the people there are so vibrant and beautiful, and the clothing that they wore is incredible. So I painted a lot of figurative, which is interesting for people to know, because if they recognize my style now, it's not very figurative. It's a lot of landscape. And but in Africa, it was purely figurative.
And you came to Hamilton then, and you started painting, kind of, as you said, more landscape, that sort of stuff. And I know that we shared a wall, in fact, at Studios of Hotel Hamilton. We had a studio there, and I had a studio right on the corner. And your work it's bold, it's big, it's beautiful, strong brush strokes. It's a really, really neat signature look. And you've really established yourself as an artist in Hamilton. Well,
that was the best move I ever made, taking that little studio. I was invited. I was painting in my dining room in Waterdown, and as other artists will know, that's a bit of a pain, because it's dinner time, you got to clean it up. So I needed my own space, but at the time I sold my work always, but I wasn't like super popular at that time. So I was examining the city of Hamilton. I was looking at the different arts groups and wondering where I could get involved. And a friend of mine, who actually was the wife of one of the investors in Hotel Hamilton, said, go down and check it out. Just check it out, go look. And I'm like, fine, if it was anything just to sell some work to lawyers. I was like, I'll meet some, I'll give my card. And I went down and I fell in love with the space. But what they offered me was pretty neat. They let me do 3 art crawls in the space before it was finished, because it would open up for every art crawl, and people loved to see the building in action, like, and getting used to it. And you and I did an art crawl together before they put up the wall.
That's right.
I don't even remember that. And every art crawl, I sold what would be my rent. So the projected rent for the space. I was like, okay, so then the art crawl would alone pay for the space. So I took it. And my career was launched at that point, because the art crawl found me, art galleries found me, people came month after month, and they say that people need to see you 7 times to believe your brand. So the 7 times would happen. They'd come and they'd make an appointment to buy, and they didn't always buy on an art crawl, but a lot my clients come back because of the art crawl.
You'd meet people there, and it would kind of go from there. And then that would have been about 4 years ago, I believe, now that
started.
That's incredible, because then since then you've now actually purchased and moved your studio into a building just up the street on James North.
Well, as soon as I got into that, the Hotel Hamilton, it was something I was just throwing around. Just how do we buy a building in Hamilton? And We did something very different than some people think. We actually lived in Waterdown. We owned a house in Waterdown, and we sold our house in Waterdown and moved downtown Hamilton. Whereas sometimes people will say, isn't it supposed to be the other way? You move from downtown to Waterdown?
Right.
But we sold our house, and it was a 1,200 square foot bungalow. There's 7 of us.
Wow.
So we're all in a 1,200 square foot bungalow. We moved downtown into a 2,400 foot 100-year Victorian.
Oh, awesome.
And with the money left over, because you know what Waterdown's like,
Yeah,
we were
yeah.
able to renovate our home and buy a building on James Street. I don't know why people don't do this.
That's incredible. That's the quintessential Hamilton revival story, I think, with James
exactly
Norton.
right. Now we have a partner, so and he has great vision for Hamilton as well. He owns different buildings, and he's a partner in the Hotel Hamilton. But my husband is the contractor. He did all the renos, and I got my dream. So now I work down there every day. And it's really fun to meet people in the street. It's like Sesame Street when everybody walks by. It's like, hi, you know all your neighbors.
Everyone knows each other on the street.
Yeah,
it's great. It's a great community, and it's a beautiful gallery as well.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit where it's located there, just so our viewers understand.
Well, it's right in between Cannon and Mulberry. And we're right beside Graham Crawford's History and Heritage.
Yep.
And my son-in-law, I'll brag, my husband is a contractor. My son-in-law did all of the renovations in my studio, and it's a gorgeous space. And we're just about to take advantage of the facade grant that the city does.
Great.
And we're about to start our facade. And so by June or July's Art Crawl, there'll be a grand unveiling of this absolutely gorgeous building.
And you're open then on art crawls. You're open during the week as well while you're painting there, so people can go in and see you, look at your work.
Yep, and I teach classes once in a while, and so once a month or so I have a class in there. It's fun.
Amazing. And so,
Yeah.
so you've now gone from, in 4 years, you've gone from trying out art crawl from Waterdown to opening your own gallery, owning the building, buying a house downtown, and teaching other people your art.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
And I have 8 galleries that carry my work as well.
Wow.
They've kind of found me.
Congratulations.
Thank you
so
very
like I
much.
said, you're a bit of a thing in this art scene, so that's
Thanks.
great. But you're also involved now as an artist, as an arts leader. You're involved in the West Hamilton Artists Tour.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about what that is.
Well, the West Hamilton Artist Tour is every Mother's Day weekend. And there's 21 artists involved, and there's 10 locations. So it's kind of like a walking tour, but a lot of times people will drive it and visit the homes that way. So there's a lot of studios in West Hamilton, and they're open. And my studio is just on the cusp, so it's a little too far for a walk-in studio. So I'm a guest in a home on Locke Street. So people, when they do the tour, they'll be able to find me there. And it's 21 curated artists. So there's a jury, and the artists are absolutely fabulous. They're great, and it's a great opportunity if you like Hamilton art. If you like, we have got some guests from Toronto and different places, but there's 10 fabulous artists. You're not going to be disappointed when you go on the tour.
Interesting. And this is an opportunity to not only see the art, but to actually purchase. You were mentioning in the green room, we were talking a little bit about that, how people may come to your studio, but you seem to sell more on these tours.
I find it fascinating. I don't understand why they don't buy or make an appointment to come and buy from me at the studio, but on the Mother's Day weekend, I sell consistently to people who've said, I've been in your studio 7 times and we decided to come. I'm like, okay.
So people know that this is where you go, when you go.
And the artists will
purchase.
have great work out this weekend. It's not like it's their leftovers. They're preparing for this weekend, and it's going to be fabulous. They're going to have their best presentation.
Awesome. Well, we do have some of the images actually from some of the artists that we're going to bring up on the screen here right now, and you can kind of explain what we're looking at. The first picture, I believe, is yours.
Oh, yeah, that's one of mine. People will ask me why I paint cows, and it's kind of funny. It's when I am preparing for a gallery show or a certain show, and I get a little tense, and I'm not sure, I've forgotten how to paint, that type of thing. I will paint a cow, and it just kind of loosens me up, because it doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be right, and they are so full of flavor and interesting that I love to paint them. And one of my cows was the Royal Winter Fair poster this last year in 2013. So that was pretty exciting.
So that's a great image right there. This is one of my favorites, but one of my favorite artists, in fact.
Paul Elia is he's a hot potato too, right in Hamilton. He takes photographs, but then digitally alters them, and he does the most amazing work. So this is just a portion, because if we had shown you the whole long one, it would have been too small for the screen. So this is a portion of one of his works, and you'll find him in his home studio. on the tour.
Yeah,
so
and I just
you'll
saw
be able
he's
to
got
visit.
the sign up now on there as well.
Yeah,
So
his studio is
all the other
absolutely
galleries.
great, and he's such a lovely guy.
He is. He is a wonderful guy. Here's the next picture here. There we go.
So this is by Siobhan Lynch, and Siobhan's studio will also be in her house, and she's over in the Dundurn area, and she is a fabulous glass artist, and actually she's really, really fun. Her laugh is contagious, so you'll enjoy going to her studio.
Awesome. That's a beautiful piece. Let's take a look at the next one. There we have jewelry.
So this is by Elizabeth Ludvigs, and she is going to be in, I think, over in the Shadok area. Her home studio is, and she's a fabulous jewelry artist.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's really cool. And we've got one more here. This is a really neat one.
Now,
I like
Sylvia
this
is
one.
really fun too, and she has a studio in West Hamilton, right down by the Bean Bar. And she has been around Hamilton for a while. She actually was one of the originators of the West Hamilton Tour. I don't know if they called it the West Hamilton Tour, but then it got taken over, and Tara Lynn, Franco, Siobhan Lynch, and Gordon Leverton started it again.
Okay.
And Sylvia has rejoined this year, so we're really excited to have her back and have her new
Excellent.
flavor in there.
Yeah, those are beautiful images. So that's the kind of art that's going to be curated at this event. That's really impressive. Excuse me. The event then takes place in these various homes, and people can find out about more about this. Is there a map and some locations of?
There is westhamiltonartisttour.com.
Okay, we have a board. We're going to bring it up here on the screen. There it
it's
is.
May 10th and May 11th, and it's 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. each day. You'll be able to, if you even just go to one of the homes, you'll be able to pick up a brochure and a map there as well. But you can download off that website, and you can take a look at all the different artists. And the Facebook page, if you go and you find the Facebook page, West Hamilton Artist Tour, some of the people that are uploading, they're uploading daily and fresh images, and it's just kind of building some
cool.
excitement.
That is exciting. Yeah. Well, we wish you all the best for that. Thanks for coming on the program.
Well, you're
First
welcome.
of
It
all, to
was
talk about
fun.
yourself and about the tour. I hope it's well attended. And,
I do too.
And all the best for that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
When we come back, we're going to be speaking with Roz Allen of Double Barrel Studios.